is we're going to be... So is this going to be in list format, or is this just going to be a casual discussion about...
It's just a casual discussion.
Yes. Thank goodness.
Probably for the beginning part, Andrew wants to talk about Christine Green.
Well, yeah. Well, Jim, first off, thank you, Jim, for showing me the wonderful knowledge that Chris Eden Green actually shows most people in America about British steam locomotives.
Yeah, I've only watched a few of his steam locos in profile, i.e. the free ones.
Oh,
yes.
That's an order. If you want to get invested in it, you need to buy the DVDs to really get a proper appreciation.
I
watched every episode. I got all 5 Steam Loco profile DVDs. I got all 5 volumes so far. Trust me, they're good. And they're Region 0, so you can watch them everywhere.
Yes, and I would love to be honest. It's just I gotta be, a bit more financially conscious before I invest in them. You know how it is. It's the fact that this is just my opinion. I think it'd be a lot better if it was like...
Yeah, we're live.
What? Oh, well, that was quick.
Yeah, we've been live for about 2 minutes.
Been live for...
We've been live for a few minutes now.
2 minutes.
No way.
Just 2 minutes. But now that we're live, I actually wanted to show you guys a little something I got for my birthday. If you don't mind, anyways.
Holy crap. Southern 630.
Yep.
I think George is watching, so as a Southern man, it's a different Southern man entirely, but he approves.
But while you guys are talking about your opinions on Chris and Eden Green, I'm going to be setting a small set of track, and I'm going to run this thing just back and forth.
Yes.
But anyway, what is your guys' opinion on the whole idea of Chris Eden Green coming to America?
Well, first of all, I just hope Fulmers don't ruin his experience for him.
I just hope that he's able to actually do some of the things he because he's getting in touch with there's this one particular concern I have with the Steam Railroading Institute, which he does want to go to, because if he's going to be because he said he wants to do an episode on the Berkshires. I'm just a little concerned because 1225 as of recently has not been through a very good time. Let's just say that
currently the only operational Berkshire we have is Nickel Plate Road 765. Nothing.
That's why that will do just fine. If you haven't watched his episode on the Great Western 1400s, Shock of Horrors, number 1450 is the only operational one in that video. It's just that in some shots it was renumbered as Long Lost Classmate number 1401. But that episode, the 1450 was the only operational 1400 class engineered film.
I know.
London and Southwestern N7s.
Yeah, but I do know he's actually...
He could only film number 53 because, it was the only one running. Oh, most people even thought that was the only one preserved.
Well, I do know this because I did see some on the SRI's Facebook that he has gotten in contact with them somewhat. So, from what it seems, he wants to do something with the 1225. I heard that's actually getting a running gear rebuild, especially its tires. That's the root. For those who don't know, that's the root cause of most of 1225's problems for the past years or so. That's
This may what?
So, for those who don't know, 1225, like I said, I'm never fucked. Well, not necessarily fucked, but her driving.
Like ovals.
Well, her tires are. Remember, the tires are the main issues with the locomotive at the moment. So, and now it's been, actually there was a rumor flying around that it ended up breaking one of the rails, causing a freight train on the short line it operates to derail. And as a result, the 1225 is currently banned from the line until it can actually get, its running gear in order or something like that. And I wouldn't be. Now, I do know they actually recently fitted roller bearings, and I think they are eventually going to fix the tires since the FRA recently just condemned them. But it's going to take a little while. Maybe it'll be ready by 2022 when Chris Eden Green comes to the country. But
so far we only know that he has enough money to do one episode in the States, which is on the JNO Opro Switchers,
or otherwise known as my favorite, quote unquote, 2-foot gauge locomotives.
Yes. Remember, it's only August, and hey, he was able to reach over $7,000 in a month, which is actually. Hold on, Riso. We're just discussing Chris Eden Green's visit to the U.S., and I'm just trying to say that raising 7,000 pounds in like a month is astronomical if you really think about it. Because remember, the fundraiser is, they have enough time. Remember, it only ends in March of next year, so I'm pretty sure they could raise 30,000 pounds or more.
This may sound like a farmer's request, but I'm still trying to keep my fingers crossed if Chris Eden Green can visit Williams, Arizona next year.
I want to see him go onto the Reading and Northern for a T1 episode, for an episode either regarding the T1s, and since I know that the 425 is not going to be officially pulled for her 15-year inspection until the end of next year, that's yeah.
But one advantage of Williams, Arizona is that he can cover not one but 2 episodes, or maybe even 3. One on the Santa Fe 45 Northerns, one on the CB&Q Mikados, maybe, and he gets an extra look on another shape.
If I may interrupt.
I will say that there's nothing. I'm talking about the base CB&Q Mikados. There's nothing really special about them in terms of, But 4960 is definitely an interesting piece. Because actually, dare I say it, since I consider it to be somewhat, dare I say, the American equivalent of the Flying Scotsman in a way, Southern 4501 as a soul slip, because I know that engine has a good few years left for her. She's operated quite often, and she has boatloads of history behind her. From her
Not to mention, 4501 actually met Flying Scotsman before.
Oh yes,
59.
But another reason I say she's very similar is that she's a sole survivor. Was painted green at one point, and had to go through a long, expensive overhaul. Extreme, albeit thankfully, 4501's restoration was not as controversial as Scotsman's. I think the most controversial.
Here's the problem. He's only planning to do one big soul slip. Chances are very high that he's not going to do another. So what's the point of doing another 15-minute long episode on only one individual locomotive? Because that's not his standard way of working. If it's
he could do like a short 3-minute soul slip on like another locomotive.
Yeah, he's just doing a soul slip on 29.
What I'm trying to say here, guys, like, for example, do you want him to do like a soul slip on 765?
No.
Impossible. Because, it's one of several locomotives preserved of the same class. So in that case, he has to do like a 18-minute episode or so on the whole class, not just one engine. Or, or if you have the extra negative curveball that none of the preserved locomotives of said class are in operation, he can't cover the class at all. Nor can he stake out one particular individual engine. So to any people out there who really demand that he reviews the Frisco Mountain types, fuck off. He will not do it.
I will say that he could do a 3-minute one on a static steam engine, like 5300, because that is the strongest preserved Pacific in the United States, and maybe the world. Then again, there's probably another
soul slip on C1.
How about a slow slip on Atlantic on that Atlantic coastline Pacific? Because
well, the thing is that it's going to be torn down for restoration very soon, so that wouldn't necessarily make for a good backdrop.
That technically means that. I also thought something. 1504 is actually technically the sole surviving actual light Pacific.
Or at least as I would say, I wish CN Green would do a soul slip on 29, but he can't because it's still in pieces at the moment, and it's out of the public eye.
29 is...
That needs to be.
Well, 29, apart from... Well, let me just say this. 29 may be interesting to us somewhat, but what's the wider appeal of the locomotive? Yes, it has a very advanced Lemtor ejector that makes it a lot more efficient.
However, of its class, it's the only L-sign locomotive to
but it looks generic to most people.
That is. That's probably why I don't like 29 as much as others.
I have to be blunt here right now. You want your engine to be covered? Go ahead and donate 5,000 pounds all in one go.
Yes, I would.
That is an option, but not a lot of people have that. Well, I don't have to donate 5,000 pounds sterling in one go.
I don't have that. What's that in U.S. dollars again?
Hold on, guys. Let's take a moment. While you find the proper cost of what that would be, I'm going to read what people have said on the stream. Tyler Green, hi guys, sorry if I'm late. George, who's George Chambers? He's new. Holy crap.
No, that's George from the Synagogues.
Oh. And might as well dim down the light a little bit. Damn, that's a nice model. Thank you. Have you seen Bachmann's O-scale USRA Pacifics? No, I have not. 630. Lovely model. Thank you. The Streamlined Pacific looks... What Streamlined Pacific looks best?
Streamlined Pacific. If any of you say A4, yes,
Black Diamond.
I would. All right. Okay. All right. Streamlined. Now I know some of you will think I'd say the Baltimore and Ohio P7s, but I've also in the past said that engine would be Streamlined Pacific is a bit of a hard one for me because fuck it. You know what? Honestly, I'll go with the Cincinnati and P7. Why? Because easiest one for me.
All right, let's continue.
Not to mention, you have one of the best specific types. You want to have one of the best Pacific types and one of the most capable Pacific types under that shrouding. Oh yeah. Did I mention what?
You go ahead, please.
Did I also mention that the streamlining for the Cincinnatian was done by a woman? Not Dreyfus. It wasn't Dreyfus. It wasn't Loey, and it wasn't Cooler. I forget her name, but she worked for the B&O's, I guess, mechanical department or something like that, or publicity department. And she actually came up with the streamlining for the Cincinnatian. Problem is by 1947, when the Cincinnatian came, steam streamliners were kind of becoming a thing of the past in a way. Most of the railroads...
We're getting off track.
Most of the big railroads, like the New York Central and the Pennsylvania, were putting diesels like the E6, E7s on the front of their...
Oh, and we're getting off track!
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Again! Anyway, last one, and then we're going to get back, and then we need to find the exact cost of 5,000 sterling in American... Okay, last one. Do you think...
£5,000 sterling is $6,880, just about. Actually, close to 6,881. So let's just say it's fairly close to $6,900.
Nice. Anyway, though, final one is: do you think Reading 425 should be painted back in its original Gulf, Volvo, and Ohio paint scheme while having a?
Honestly, no, because as much as people
actually part of. Can I say something? First of all,
yes, you may.
Part of the Gulf Mobile and Northern originally, not the GMO.
And secondly, it's somewhat its original livery because the tender livery is almost in the exact same style, and the headlight placement somewhat as well, in a way. And the blue paint scheme should stay because it makes the engine more unique.
I mean, it's...
Dude, 425's blue paint is just overfoamed. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna stick with the I'm sorry. All right,
guys.
Oh, you mean the 90 ripoff? You mean the 90 ripoff?
Yeah, he's got a point.
I'd rather go for a 90 ripoff than a locomotive that's painted blue and everybody simps to it like an average simp donating to a Twitch streamer hoping to say their name.
There's not as many simps for it as for the Royal Hudson.
I mean, he's got a point.
Royal Hudsons barely get attention, boy.
In Canada, I don't think they do. They don't.
Yeah, in Canada. Do you guys live in Canada? No. That's fine.
Well, in America, we do. And guess what? Most of the fan base of 425 is situated in the Northeast. There's other Pacifics and it's currently one of only 3 operational Pacifics. Have you brought that into consideration?
What about the fact that it actually has a chance to stretch its wheels on like 3415?
Yes.
We had to bring up that thing.
Gentlemen, I do believe we have very much strayed away from the main subject matter.
Yes, we much have.
I will vehemently defend 425's blue paint job.
Anyway, gentlemen, or rather, all people out there who are watching this, in case you don't know who the fuck Chris Eden Green is, he is the host and presenter and creator of a YouTube review show called Steam Locos and Profile. 15 to 18 minutes long, and he's been doing this show since 2012. And mostly he's been covering various classes of steam locomotives that happen to be preserved in the United Kingdom. Classes that were preserved in quantity. So there are multiple examples preserved today. if you want to, I can actually go through a list of all the classes he's covered so far.
Oh boy.
Because again, I am a fucking slob and I have all the goddamn DVDs.
That would be. I think that would take a good chunk of the stream, though.
No, it's actually relatively short. The Volume 1 DVD. The LMS Black Fives, the London, Brighton and South Coast Terriers, the Great Western Castles, the Southern Railway Bullied Pacifics, the LNER A4s, the Great Western 5700 Pannier Tanks, the Southern U-Class Moguls, and the LMS 4Fs, with a bonus episode on the Bord Nimona 040 well tanks. Volume 2.
Dan's disappeared.
The Great Western Manners, the British Railways Standard 4 tanks, the British Railways Standard 7 Britannias, the Great Western Hulls, the Great Western 2800s, and the LMS 8Fs, with a bonus episode on the Vale of Rydal 262 Prairie tanks. Volume 3, which is the one that Dan wishes he was here for. The British Rail Standard 9Fs, the Great Western 1400s, the Great Western Small Prairies, the Somerset and Dorset 7Fs, the British Railway Standard 5s, and Chris's first taste of American steam, the USATC S-160s.
Yeah!
Because there are like 8 of them preserved in the United Kingdom, out of a total of 25 that are preserved around the globe.
Actually, there's about 45.
With what Dan would have wanted to hear, the bonus material, the German Baureihe 50 and 52 locomotives, collectively noted here as the DRB Kriegsloks, and the Harts Mountain 210-2 tanks of the Baureihe 99.23.
What about some of the?
Volume 4. The Southern Railway M7s, the Austerity Saddle Tanks, the Great Western 4200s, the LMS Ibis 2MTs, the LMS Jinties, which Andrew kind of nuts over. Did you hear that?
The LMS.
What should have been Thomas.
No,
and
silence.
The Railways Standard 4 Moguls. With 2 bonus episodes on the Earl and Countess, which are a pair of identical 060 tank engines for some Welsh railway that I can't pronounce.
Bring forth the holy keyboard.
It's Italian able to pronounce that. Like it's let's see. Italian?
No, it's the W and LLR.
What was that again?
The W and LLR.
The Welsh Pool and Clanfair Railway.
That might have been it. And finally, Volume 5, the Southern Railway S-15s, Chris's second taste of American steam, the USATC S-100s, which he labeled here as the Southern Railway USA tanks because the Southern did buy a few of them after the war, the LNER B-1s, a.k.a. bongos.
Yes, actually.
The Great Western Large Prairies, the Great Western Small Panniers, and the Royal Motor Fuel, the LMS Royal Scot.
That actually reminds me, I forgot to read one of the comments earlier about the B1s.
Before we do,
Yeah, Taylor.
Volume 5 bonus episode is on the PKP OL-49s, which are some Polish prairie tanks. No, not prairie tanks, but prairie tender engines.
Oh yeah, Polish. Aren't they still in like service?
I think somewhat, yes. Or at least at the time of production of that DVD, which was 2019.
Yeah, a lot of Eastern Europe. I guess communism did one thing well. It preserved steam across Eastern Europe. And some of them are like what was it?
We're getting off track, Owen.
Yeah, we kind of are.
I was
basically for each episode of Steam Loco Profile, in terms of the whole standard structure, it's as follows. First, there's a little bit of talk about the development of the class, then the history, or maybe the two are kind of melded together. Then there's the good points, the bad points, the decline from regular service, and the revival into today's preservation era.
Now, before we continue on with that, there was a comment that I forgot to read from Tyler Green. Hey, Andrew, what are your thoughts on the Thompson B1s, aka the bongos? I'll tell you what I think. I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Bongos!
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, Court. No. Yes, I was waiting for, I just want to, wait, I want to ask something. In his episode about the Bully Pacifics, is there anything that relates to the Monty Python spam joke? Because that would literally be perfect for...
Now that is relevant.
You mean Spamalot?
Just by judging at the preview, I think that's how. Just by judging at the preview, I think that's part of how Jim got his script for the Bully Pacifics to get his video.
Oh, Dan, you missed the Volume 3 bonus episodes of Steam Looks and Profile.
Yeah, and you also missed me doing Phil Collins.
Cool.
No, I mean literally. Chris talked about the goddamn 52s.
I would like to see him do an episode. You think he's going to do an episode on any of the WDs? As in the War Department consolidations and decapods.
I see. My father was a gamer, so naturally,
I know that
it was violent.
I know that Chris was planning on covering the 116-inch saddle tanks. I think they were.
Oh.
All right, Batman.
But as I'm saying, the thing is about the WDs is why I like them so much is they were, at least the 210Os were sort of the proto 9Fs in a way. They were built on the cheap, but they were so good that there were so many built, and they were so good that they lasted right up until the end of Steam. Not to mention, they were in some of the worst condition out of all the Steam engines by the end of Steam in 1968 on BR.
All right, Batman. If you don't give me 1 month free of Discord Nitro, I'm gonna say the N-word.
Which N-word?
No, Dad.
Which N-word?
What is wrong with you?
Which N-word?
Joker, you've gone too far this time. Didn't you, blow up a hospital? I know, he's getting worse. Oh, I see. Probably.
Well,
I will not hesitate to serve or deafen you if you do say the N-word.
All right, Batman. I won't say the gamer word if you send me a picture of Robin's thighs.
What?
All the power and nothing to stop me. And you fucking muted me, you no good little piece of fucking shit. I will kill you.
we can hear you. We can hear you.
That was by accident.
We can still.
But as I'm saying, we're kind of
Yeah, we're getting off track, guys.
Track a popular thing now.
Apparently so.
Well, what are you guys most excited for when Chris Green comes to America?
Honestly, when it comes to things he's planning to do, it's either going to be the Denver Rio Grande Arrow.
I know what you're excited for, Owen. The classic American 440s.
Oh!
He was going to say the Rio Grande Mikados.
I was also going to say the Berkshires.
I was being sarcastic. I was trying to mess with Owen.
This may be a bit of a simple man's answer, but if he has enough money for it, like if the fundraiser campaign does well enough, I do hope that I will be pretty damn excited for his reviews on the Big Boys and Berkshires.
Honestly,
well, here's
the thing is about Big Boy is it's not like you could go to your average Heritage Railway and see it like you can in the UK, famous. And it's not like they give like that agent.
He needs to have the luck of being able to chase it.
Oh yeah,
I can't wait to see all that. I can't wait to see all that. No.
What?
This is an original answer. What I'm actually most excited to see Chrissy and Green review is the main narrow gauge locomotives.
I can't wait to see. Okay, why?
Because they were the quote unquote original F. Nelson Blount locomotives.
Well,
I
can't wait to watch all the foamers try to basically, in short terms, make his life hell. I mean, think about it. He's going to America, and if an American probably sees a British man, shit's about to go down. So,
but there's like you've seen. I'm pretty sure you've seen that people have traveled all over the world to go see Big Boy. Some even going as far as
Bet you $5 someone's gonna annoy him by asking him to go see 611.
This may sound a little off topic, but
what?
On YouTube, in the live stream chat, Tyler Green kind of said something about Owen's quote unquote idea.
About
Oh wait, is he talking about my thing? Is he talking about my suggestion that I posted in the YouTube comment section to him to see if he could get a sponsorship from the Reading and Northern?
No, it's about a Frisco mountain diving dressed up as an elemental one.
Oh, yeah, that's actually. I'm still steadfast. I'm still steadfast on that should happen with one of them because
that would be a good idea. Like
that would be a great running mate to 2716 and the QJ. Yeah, they have their.
Well,
shit, I forget.
Well.
But yeah. Also, back to Chrissy and Green's tour. This guy, when it comes to LS9 locomotives, he's coming to the USA at bad timing because by next year, only one of the survivors will be operable. Just one. 1800 Coverdale.
LS9.
Lake Superior for me, obviously.
I know.
I guess
admittedly, I'm kind of getting convinced.
Sorry if this is annoying you, but I'm just saying.
Well,
but
did anyone think he'll cover any of the other Sierra Railway locomotives?
I hope he does, because number 3 is my least.
He doesn't know that others exist.
Number 28 operates at the same railroad number 3 does.
Number 15, Burger King foot lettuce.
The last thing you want
on your
Burger King
locomotive is someone's foot fungus. As it turns out, that's my what.
Dan has a seizure.
Is kind of mentally groaning inside of his head because he spawned that meme.
Anyway, if I may contradict, I think the Sierra number 3 is going to be my least favorite part from Chris and Green. I mean, I might enjoy seeing, like the history because I don't know much about it, but at the same time...
I'm just look, all right? As much as everyone doesn't like that engine as much, I will give it credit for one thing. It's a 460 rather than just being the classic 440 you see fucking plastered everywhere. That's
okay, you're not wrong. But at the same time,
it was somewhat revolutionary for when it was first constructed.
Well,
here's a brief history about Sierra number 3 for you. 1991, that suffered a catastrophic accident which caused it to have a steel cab instead of a wood. Then became a popular movie star throughout the 20th century. Then participated in Rail Fair 91 at Sacramento. Then was retired from excursion service in the mid-90s and didn't return until the early 21st century.
Great Scott.
But yes,
Somebody had to make the fucking pun.
Yes, but as I'm Yeah, but as I'm saying, like, Sierra 3 is probably the oldest 10-wheeler operational in the United States at the moment, which I do give it somewhat credit for. Hey, well, wait a second. It still has the diamond stack, right?
No.
Oh, thank goodness. Yeah, and it doesn't have a diamond stack nowadays.
Well, here's one of the reasons why, because they got a brand new boiler.
Yeah, I kind of know that. I mean,
are we asking to put a diamond stack on for you?
How about we just drop it?
If it doesn't need one, don't put it on.
Drive it off a cliff.
Texas State Railroad 200.
Diamond stacks back in the days when locomotives burned wood were necessary. I get it. But when it's an oil burner, you don't fucking need one.
Drive it off a cliff. Drive it off a cliff. Drive it off a cliff. With a DeLorean, no less.
But as I'm saying,
let it crash near my house. They should restore it and run it on the main line.
Run it with the DeLorean and with 4014 and 611 on the horseshoe curve.
yeah, but once again, I think we're kind of that. I mean, probably the episode I'll be least interested in is, and I know some people are going to get upset because I know some people are really attached to those kinds of railways.
Let me guess. I'm being serious this time. Let me guess, Owen. Let me guess. You're least excited about those 440s.
No, actually, I'm least excited about the cog railway.
Oh.
Okay, I've never necessarily liked the looks. Like, I get why they're there, and I get their purpose, but they just look weird to me.
Do you know what else looks weird?
What?
The Alleghenies, yet those things were okay. Note, okay.
The Alleghenies don't look exactly weird. They look like large freight engines, because that's exactly what they were built for. And guess what? Those air compressors on the front, they were mounted there because it's a giant locomotive and the CNO had tight tunnels.
And you couldn't put them anywhere else, could you?
Tighter than your mom! Yeah.
I guess that.
Here's an even weirder locomotive. If you want weird CNO locomotives, look at this.
No.
What?
Get that sorry excuse for a locomotive out of my sight.
Where is it?
No, I'm spinning it.
No! Get the rolling banana out of here!
That thing is even more fucking useless than a triplex.
That's as useless as a cardiac arrest without a doubt.
Useless than a triplex.
We're looking at the CNO M1 class turbines.
Yes, it's as useless as a cardiac arrest without a doubt.
AKA the bananas from hell. The big bananas from hell.
You mean Bananakin? You know, Anakin Skywalker with a banana suit? Bananakin?
It's over. I have the high ground, Bananakin.
Well, for those who actually care about those, for those who even dare to care about those, once you're done crying, I'll shit in your mouth. I'll make you run 1,000 miles just to piss in your yard.
The fucking rat from Ratatouille is not an Avenger.
Because I laugh, but then you're dead, so go fuck yourself.
Every time I swear, every time I see one of those at a train show, I have to wear a hazmat suit because they are extremely toxic.
I have my weapon.
Did you know the 611? Dude, the 611 isn't an Avenger. It's not going to save the day against Thanos.
You know what? This one may not make other people happy, but I know it make Owen happy.
It's better. It's an improvement. I'll say that.
Ow.
That
I would say not really an improvement because one of those missed its appointment with the Scrapman's cutting torch.
oh my goodness. At least they functioned properly. It actually resembled more of a fucking actual steam locomotive than the turbines.
Are you talking about the minion train?
The
Just
L1
making Ohio streamlined Hudsons.
The L1s.
Yeah, the minion train.
They are hated too much for no reason at all, I dare say.
Oh, wait. That suddenly reminds me. Minion of Canada. How to ruin an A4.
I will bury you alive and throw you into the desert later on and feed you to a pack of wild dogs and then send you back in time to the German Africa Corps just so you can watch Erwin Rommel die.
Look, guys.
We're getting off track. I'll just say this.
In a nutshell, whoever.
We just might do a soul slip on 490 if goes to Baltimore.
Honestly,
I want to see one on 5300 too, because even if it's like a short fucking video, I want to see that engine get more, exposure.
well, guys, look, I'm just gonna say this real quickly. The person who came up with the 490 streamlining is the person who came up with Lego gummy bricks.
Why? Were they terrible or something?
No, it's just a stupid idea.
I will say though that it definitely oozes more character than an A4, which just looks like a bloody wedge with nothing up front.
How dare you?
Yes. Again, you may want to look at UK locomotives because, like I said, Minion of Canada.
Wait, what?
Jim, where is your house?
I do. honestly, and you may kill me for this, but I do like the yellow paint because it gives a bit more vibrant color mixed with the blue.
Oh, you guys need to see this.
Also, the superior British streamliners right next to it. So,
yeah, but the LMS streamlining didn't last very long.
Jim, why?
That was necessary.
Why, Jim?
Well, it still looked better. It didn't look like a fucking wedge with nothing up front.
Why would you do
At least
that?
it somewhat resembled U.S. streamlining.
Why would you do
That
that?
didn't mean it was particularly successful.
Yeah, because the LMS crews thought that it's too much of a hassle.
It was more of a publicity stunt, and it didn't make the locomotives that much faster.
I guess you're right,
Here's
but
possibly
still look better.
Once again, got it from the source. Got it from the Slips episode on the A4s. Because he didn't cover the Duchesses yet. Or the Princess Royal.
Well,
And it didn't run itself to bits while trying to break the world steam speed record.
look, honestly,
All right, we get
actually
that.
one kind of did.
I prefer LMS over LNER any day.
I'm talking. Yes, I do know that one hit 114, but I can't recall any mechanical failures occurring.
Yeah, just a lot of China and the restaurant carriages being smashed about.
Yeah, but that was more carriage design than locomotive design. Oh yeah.
Nah, we'll blame Clarkson. He was at the regulator.
he was at the regular. He was like, power!
Not to that.
Oh!
As I'm saying before, the best LNER Pacifics were the ones designed by Peppercorn. Hands down.
You know who else did design Peppercorn?
My mom!
Fuck you, Andrew. That was my line. Actually, technically, it's not.
It's the internet's line. Dan,
They were
How the fuck and somebody's mom design a man.
Watch regular show. You'll get it.
Yeah, but as I'm saying, also did the princess coronations have conjugated valve, or they just had like four simple cylinders not connected?
Well, in the United Kingdom, conjugated valve gear was an LNER exclusive.
Yes.
Daniel used 4 sets of wall charts in a similar manner to how the Great Western's large 10-wheelers, the stars, the castles, and the queens did it.
Yes, exactly.
Well, guys,
I think honestly that's a better arrangement, because conjugated valve gear, let's just say, doesn't have it's not the best, especially during a war. And having that extra cylinder does help a lot.
But then again, if we're talking about British locomotives and World War II, it's not going to help, because, a German BF-109 can still shoot you down.
I mean, the entire British Army's held together with duct tape, so...
dive bomber will just charge in like some kind of simp when he sees a gamer girl. Why am I using that term a lot?
I don't know.
Because you're sexually attracted to gamer girls.
No, I'm not! They're douchebags!
Yes, but you still want to be that little pog champ.
But as I'm saying...
You fucking marry me again! I'm ready! I hope you die in a fucking fire!
Hey, Dan.
What?
Do you have a Twitch account to watch big titty gamer girls?
No.
Okay. OnlyFans.
But as I'm saying, the four extra cylinders. The only thing I think the LNER did better in terms of their specifics is the whistles. Because frankly, I do not think a hooter fits on a big express engine.
Me neither. I don't. It's
Hooters over the goddamn LNER teapot whistle.
yes. I prefer those too.
I'm not talking about the teapot. I'm talking about the chime whistles that were on the P2s, the A4s, the peppercorns, maybe. Even though both peppercorns that are around today have both a teapot and a chime whistle.
Did we just completely change the subject of the stream?
I don't. Well, guys, actually, I'm starting to realize we only have 12 minutes left, and I actually wanted to share you guys some progress I made on my book.
Oh, nothing makes me happier
than thinking about your corpse.
What the hell did you do, Andreas?
Well,
San Andreas.
As I said about last time, the first book I am making is about 1278. And, well...
My father was a gamer.
I'm here to read you.
Violent.
I'm here to read you what I...
Shush.
I'm here to read you guys what I have of the story so far. And this is the only time I'm actually going to be reading it on the stream. So if there's any more progress that I show anyone, it won't be live and it won't be completely public. Because this is the last time I'm going to be showing that before I continue the actual story of the book when it comes to writing it. Let us begin. These are the stories of many trials and tribulations of railroad preservation. The stories that taught us how life is worth living and made us feel alive while we lived them. With over 2,000 steam locomotives in America, it only makes sense to let them do what they were built to do. However, the eventual cost, financial, and physical care and political knowledge that goes into preservation, only certain locomotives out there have gone, many locomotives out there have gone through hardships, broken promises, and even despite attempts to make money from a living, end up being sold as pieces of history. These are the locomotive stories told from their point of view, from the view of the machines, from the view of the machines that built America and the world. Told in a remarkable view from the workhorses that power these trains. These are the Preservation Chronicles.
These are their stories. Dun dun.
Okay.
In the criminal, in railway justice, the locomotive is usually a gamer, so naturally they're very violent. Or nitro, locomotives have full-on access to say the N-word. Stories.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Imagine that Pepsi Decapog being a gamer girl with big titties.
Excuse me, fuck you.
Okay, Dan. Andrew, continue.
Okay. Now, okay, let's get to the story. Hello, I am 1278. I'm a Canadian Pacific steam locomotive, born from the fire and made of steel. I was built in 1948 with the intent of being nothing more than a workhorse to be used for work and nothing more. I was a passenger locomotive, built with the finest equipment of the day and the reliability that would even trump the new developing technology of a thing called diesel. Even with the competition on the market, I worked alongside hundreds of my kind. We had races, compared mileage, and some of us were even considered the greatest machines they had ever seen and rode behind. They would never forget us. Some people who visit us today actually got to ride behind us without knowing it. Well, without knowing who we were. While I did have many sisters, my closest family members were 1293 and 1246. Even after our era ended in 1963, we stayed together as much as we could. We were even sold to the same scrapyard. Even though we were together, we were still terrified and depressed at the thought of us being cut up and melted into other things. While I was there, I remember talking to 1293 about what I thought about what was happening to us. He said, "I've been ready for this since the day I saw the first diesel. I just never talked about it because I didn't want to scare my family or my friends. Yet here we are, wishing I had told you sooner that this would happen." Fortunately, the scrapyard was not our final resting place. A couple of weeks passed by, and we found out that someone from America had bought all of us. When we found out we could... Fuck yeah! When we found out we couldn't help but start cheering over the thought of us being saved. Even 1246, who was usually staying quiet, started cheering with his bell. I asked them what they thought was going to happen to them. 1293 responded, "Well, I don't care, as long as we're taken care of and in a nice, dry shed." 1246 then spluttered what he thought would happen to us. "I think we're being bought for one of those tourist railroads. You know, those places where our kind are used to pull tourists around sightseeing. I've heard excursions are amazing from what 2860 said." 1293 interrupted. "Yeah, that's great and all, but why would you trust that pompous showboat?"
Excuse me?
1293 had a bit of a problem with 2860 ever since 2860 returned from that fancy train she pulled with some celebrity. I interrupted. "Well, who knows? It will just be put in a park somewhere at least. But either way, we live to thrive another day." The day came when we would be transported. For the journey, we would have to be moved separately with special care. After we said our final goodbyes, as we knew we would see each other in a couple of days, some men came up to us and told us that we were going to Bellows Falls, Vermont. Still questioning the reasons for our purchase, I pondered the whole way there, wondering why exactly anyone would want 3 old steam locomotives. Buying us was like buying some worn-out shoes. I just didn't understand why someone would buy something that doesn't work anymore. Especially when they had those new diesels. When we got to our new home, it was pitch black, except for a couple of marker lights on other stationary locomotives. We were unloaded and rolled onto another set of tracks by a small, curious little diesel locomotive. I opened a sleepy eye and said hi. He said hi and continued pulling me. Almost immediately, I saw 1246 and 1293 up in the distance, next to what looked like hundreds of other steam locomotives. Most of them were asleep. However, the ones who weren't were talking about themselves being saved from their near death to the scrapmen. I decided to go to sleep and find out what was going on in the morning. But before I could do that, the diesel said, "Welcome to Steamtown. Go up. We'll talk in the morning."
Hey man, look, welcome to Steamtown. We'll talk in the morning, man.
Honestly, that's actually what I was expecting the little guy to sound like. It's like, "Welcome to Steamtown. We'll talk in the morning." This place definitely wasn't a scrapyard. It was just too big to be a small railroad, though. So what could it be? I fell asleep before I could finish my own thoughts. Next morning, I woke to find 1293 talking to some strangely huge locomotive that looked like it had been built with another locomotive into its system. I would soon learn he was a sole survivor of one of America's greatest railroads. Well, I asked my brother what he was doing before I could say anything. But before I could say anything, another familiar voice I hadn't heard from for a long time came from behind me. So here I was with too many questions to answer at the same time. However, I wasn't able to move under my own power yet, so I decided to meet the double locomotive first. 1293 waited for me to look at him before saying, "Morning 78, you have no idea how lucky we are right now." I said, "Why do you say that?" I just woke up and found myself surrounded by... But before I could finish my sentence, I saw another Canadian locomotive over by the roundhouse. The big thing that caught my attention about him was that there was actually smoke coming from his stack. It was rolled out of the shed under his own steam with the number 47 and sporting the logo of my rival railroad, Canadian National. He was a Suburban tank engine, which apparently wasn't common here in America, but at my home we saw quite a handful. I wanted to say hi, but he was too far away to hear me, and he was already listening to his own steam bellowing into the sky. 1293 woke me up from my astonished paralysis and proceeded to introduce me to the strange double locomotive. 78, this is 1218. He's an articulated locomotive, designed by the Norfolk and Western. I've never seen anyone as big as you. I interrupted with a question. Hold on, 93. What is an articulated locomotive? He responded in excitement. He has a joint in the middle of his frame that allows him to move around tight corners. Oh, and guess what his tractive effort is. At this point, I was amazed, confused, and thinking why I had never seen one. I asked what it was, and 93 gave me a response that caused my headlight to flicker. He has 121,000 pounds. And I swear, if 1218 wasn't right in front of me, I wouldn't have believed a locomotive like him existed. He had 4 cylinders, 12 drivers, a tiny cab, and a huge firebox. I plucked up and asked him some questions. Why did your railroad need a locomotive like you? You seem a little hefty to do anything. He responded looking hurt. Funny thing is, I was told that same thing by the Pennsylvania Railroad. After he said that, I couldn't help but ask why they said such a rude thing. He began to speak. When World War II came around, Pennsylvania was at a locomotive shortage. They couldn't design anything new because of the War Department's restrictions, so they had to take inspiration from other railroads. And that's what I have so far, folks.
Yeah, I was a bit confused at first because I thought the double locomotive would be 4012, and I was confused saying that it.
I heard that it was a Soul Survivor. I know that it meant 1218.
And also, Andrew.
Yeah.
Is there any progress on the Duluth Trio book as well?
I'm doing one book at a time. So far, I'm just working on this.
Oh yeah, Andrew.
Yeah.
I want to just, as a somewhat revision, I think they were bought by Blount in the 60s, but 2860 did not enter excursion service until 1974.
Well, I'm talking about, this is their memories from back in revenue service. That's what they were talking about.
Well, I believe the celebrity thing, I think you're trying to reference the Royal Train, but that was 2850.
Oh.
It was then that he realized.
He fucked up. Hold on. Well, I mean, then again, it's a work in progress. I even noticed one mistake that I accidentally put 1236 instead of 1246.
And you did read the 3 pages I sent you privately, right?
The 3 pages of what?
The Locomotives of Duluth.
Not yet, but before anything, Dan, since you're the Canadian man here,
okay,
what did you think so far?
Fucking your imaginary girlfriend.
Shut the fuck up. Your nose. Anyways, I think I like it, but at the same time, maybe we could just make the story a little bit fall a little again more in depth in the story of 1278 when she served her home and native land.
Yeah. Oh wait, you should also add something about 1201 because that was. You should also add
1201.
Yeah.
And also, Andrew, you do remember that 1218 did not enter Steamtown until 65, right?
Oh.
Yeah, and I think the 4012 would be a better locomotive to add to that.
You sure?
Because that is what people think of when they think of an articulated in Steamtown.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
okay.
So a thing, it's a reference that this one is regarding the reference to a CNR 47. Just a little heads up: don't reference the fire incident because it's actually confirmed that the fire thing is false.
Yeah, I just watched an entire video about that.
So wait, what happened to 47's boiler contract then?
It was just disposed of.
Why?
It was actually wait, I actually know what happened to it because I watched the podcast.
You watched it too.
Yeah, it was actually given to a rail fan near Montreal who kept it sealed away for so many years, and I guess thought nothing of it for that. And the thing is the 47, and they did actually find replacement paperwork for it, but it turns out they needed an entire boiler retubing. Now, granted,
this was sticking down on a shoestring budget, so they couldn't afford to do even that.
Yeah, they were.
Here. They wanted to have an idea. Andrew?
Yeah?
Add to the book and a segment during the revenue service area where 1278 and 3254 meet for the first time. Hey?
Oh. I want to make them enemies. I want to make them enemies.
Between them. Have like a little spat between them, like it's like the 3254 is blocking the line with a freight train, and 1278's like move Get out of the way, you. Out of the way, you blithering idiot.
Actually,
I
Dan.
have a little bit of British reference to it because Canada was a good old sex slave to the British Empire.
Well, Dan, actually, you don't mind if I share this with you, and you can help me write this book because because you are a big fan of these locomotives.
I am the king of Canadian steam and the king of degeneracy. So
And
I believe
it just makes sense. It just makes sense for me to have
You could add that 1201 being the first locomotive could be somewhat pompous in a way.
And also make 1201 more or less a mentor for 1278 and maybe to 1200 as well because they're the oldest.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And say 1201 was heading to some science museum in the capital city of Ottawa. Was heading over to some science museum in the capital city. Meanwhile, we were just stuck here waiting to see what our fate would be.
See look, there's a reason I'm writing these books, and I said it last time that there's a lot of passion and love that goes into all these steam locomotives and their lives. So there's a good reason that these books are being made. It's just it took a while for someone out there to actually do it, and wouldn't you know, it was us.
Yeah. I will say though that the railway series kind of it's by doing preservation because remember Stephanie is a preserved terrier, and one of the books even had, and several of the books had Flying Scotsman, and one even had Green Arrow in it. So
Another had a locomotive that was actually named after the Reverend himself.
oh, the one that's on the Dean Forest Railway.
Yes, that one.
And also Andrew.
That was written by the author.
Yeah.
It was the Reverend's son.
Quote unquote, yeah, if you ever cut to 3254 in your book.
1983 to 2011.
Well, guys, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for being at the stream, and maybe, just maybe, you guys get to choose. You guys, I'm looking at you on the stream, in the chat. Who is watching this video? You are going to give us the idea of what we should do next time on Burning Subjects Terminal.
Please don't do anything 611. I beg of you.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, Tyler, when it comes to your comment as seeing 2716 dressed as an LM locomotive, no.
Well, they've already done it.
Yeah.
2716 as an LM locomotive? No, they haven't.
The big Emma.
I wanted to say
that's fuck.
I was waiting for it just to click, and well, you just remembered. Well, either way, guys, you guys get to choose the subject of our next Burning Subjects Terminal, and the best comment will be the actual subject. So we will see you guys next time.
It's 1522. I'll kill you.